and that's the thing. Ultimately, everything Penn State wants to accomplish this season is still in front of them. Um, had you
We
told
had
me,
a comment or allude to that. He's reset it. Right here, Mr. William Bishop.
yeah, and I agree with that. If Penn State can get a rematch with Iowa in the Big Ten championship game, I would pick 10, assuming Sean Clifford's healthy. And if he's not, they're not going to get there. But, I would pick Penn State 10 times out of 10. I think what frustrates and worries me coming out of this is the Clifford injury. Because I still believe that if Sean Clifford is 100% healthy when they go to Columbus at the end of the month, they can beat the Buckeyes. And had you told me coming into the season, hey, Penn State's going to go 11-1 and you can pick the game they lose, I would have picked Iowa because this is a good loss at Kinnick Stadium against a top 5 team. It's a loss that doesn't hurt you in your division. If you go 11-1 with a loss at Iowa, you're going to Indianapolis. And if you win that game, you go to the college football playoff. It's that simple. Now, that's obviously a lot of work to be done there. And right now, if you're Penn State, you just got to worry about getting through your bye week, getting healthy, and then beating Illinois in 2 weeks. And, I'm sure we'll get into the Illinois game later. And that's one thing, too, that I think works in Penn State's favor is no knock on Illinois whatsoever. Penn State essentially has 2 straight bye weeks leading up to Ohio State here to get healthy. But, yeah, I still think that if Penn State can get healthy, they're still capable of beating Ohio State. They're still capable of going to the Big Ten championship game. Losing a West game doesn't hurt. It's very similar to that Minnesota game in 2019. As frustrating of a loss as that was, because that was another game Penn State probably should have won. That one is a little bit different. It was turnovers by Clifford that put them in that position. And then
That and just piss poor secondary play.
Yeah, bad secondary play, that late pick call on Daniel Georgia probably shouldn't have been flagged. There was a lot of things in that game. But you were in that same position coming out of that. As frustrating of a loss as that was, because that was a game where you're the better team, you were 8-1, but that only loss was to a Western Division team. You still controlled your destiny. Now, they went to Columbus 2 weeks later and lost to Ohio State. And that was another game where if Clifford doesn't get hurt, who knows what may have happened because they lost – what was I think 28-20, something like that. And that was a game where Clifford didn't play in the second half. So again, you control your destiny right now if you're Penn State, which coming into the season, had you told me through 6 games, Penn State would be 5-1, especially if you told me that loss had been to Iowa, I would have said, sign me up. Between Wisconsin, between Auburn, between Indiana, I thought this was an absolute just gauntlet of a stretch to get to their bye week. And like I said, had you told me preseason Penn State was going to be 5-1 going into their bye week and be a top 10 team, I would have taken that every single time. So as frustrating of a loss as this is, as frustrated as I am, as frustrated as many Penn State fans are, I think we all kind of need to take a step back right now and look at this and say, you know what? Had you told me in August that going into the bye week, Penn State was going to be 5-1 and that only loss was going to be at Iowa by 3 points, everybody would have taken that. Absolutely everybody would have taken that. So I think that's something we all need to keep in mind, myself included. We all need to keep in mind right now.
Right. Yeah. As you said, this was a loss to a cross division team, so it does not, it's not like it losing to Ohio State or Michigan, which can hurt you in the Eastern Division race. Now, of course, this is all dependent on, like I said, these next 2 weeks. Can Cliff get healthy? Does PJ Mustipher, Devon Ellies get healthy on the D line? That we definitely need to rebuild that D line depth after a couple went down today. And I guess thank goodness Arnold Ebiketie came back in quickly, and same with Jaquan Brisker. They both went down briefly at one point, but yeah, the injury bug just I'm trying to think of a game prior to this where the injury bug just ravaged Penn State's key guys like today and had such an effect like today's game. I don't know. I'm drawing a blank right now.